Alright, welcome back everyone, I'm Evil Tim, and this is Let's Play Homefront. So let's get back to playing Homefront against our better judgment. Now, one of the clearest signs of a Gary stew is that they will immediately be forgiven any transgressions they make. For example, if they were to say risk the equipment necessary for the plan, the technician necessary for their plan, the Goliath targeter and the pilot necessary for their plan, in order to go apeshit and kill lots of Koreans. Connor is in fact in charge of this mission. You'll be delighted to know. I think my favourite character so far is this mortar. It has yet to offend me. So, we've got some glow sticks on the ground. Apparently they've forgotten the mortar rounds and just bought a few cold ones instead. So, Connor is going to clamber in here and stand on that glow stick, which will apparently be highly unconcerned by this.
Wish I had more like you.
What, more silent non-entities? Marvellous. So, Hopper has to drive us safely, and these glow sticks are bizarrely immobile, so he's going to close that door, and then he will return to the doomed home base from the school, which, if you recall, was 100 yards from a Korean checkpoint. This is the worst plan ever. Also, apparently, there has been vandalism going on inside this van. As you can see, there is graffiti, and we are being told to be cautious by this mortar, presumably cautious of Connor, who will once again try to get us killed by going apeshit and mental, no doubt.
Hey guys,
So, we have now reached our densitation, and now we will park up.
I'll set up in the East Plaza. I'll take the van to the main gate and meet up with the guys from Gunnison.
Alright, you go and do those things which you have just said. We, meanwhile, will notice suddenly that their glow sticks have activated themselves, which was nice of them, and that somehow there is a sniper rifle here that we haven't noticed up until this point, so we will pick that up and make our way here where we will be glued to the ground.
You two stay up top, keep us covered. We'll clear the way for Goliath and then hit the store together. Find that fuel caravan.
That sounds like a staggeringly bad idea because it's one of yours. Alright, so in a minute we'll actually be allowed to move after we have moved out behind our woman of no fixed race here. I mean, she can't be Mexican because she would swear in Spanish and we'd have killed her by now. And again, the skybox is completely different. How do you even make a mistake like that? How is it possible to put two skyboxes in a level, one of which is different to the other, and not know you've done that? I just don't understand. Kim Jong-il has appointed a successor in the time that I was not understanding, so we will pick that up, and then we will bugger off over here to go and see if we can find some more stuff. And I should warn you in advance, if you're playing the Homefront drinking game, you're going to die of alcohol poisoning. So we're going to go over here and find another intelligence, which is just lying in a pool of nonsense, and there is Korean integration, which is continuing. Meanwhile, we are going to go over here and, no, first we're going to have a look around this place. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, because I've already done it, so we'll go over here and we'll be warned.
They see us here. This whole thing goes tits up.
Hey everyone, I'm here. There's also lots of lens flares going on, which is silly, so we're going to go in here and keep an eye on... Rianne apparently decided to occupy us, so she's going to run there and keep an eye on her shadow, because it has its own behaviours. It's sprung. Well, that was weird, and now it's going to disappear entirely out of embarrassment, I suppose. Now, Rianne here is the person who wishes to make love, not war. So let us go over here and see her making love, not war, to this man. Unfortunately, her copy of the Kama Sutra appears to have been backwards, and so she is bad at it, and sadly ends up making war while making love. It's strange of her. She's also apparently afraid of doorknobs, but she has overcome her fear in order to open this one. Hooray. So we'll make our way out here towards tigerdirect.com, which is some sponsorship, and a Chinese helicopter will fly over here. And, you know, for all this stuff about them not making the Chinese the bad guys, most of the enemy equipment is Chinese, so I don't really see how that makes any difference. Meanwhile, Kim Jong-un has received the Nobel Prize at Door Knocker, so let's go over here. Connor is going to bring it. Yes, just remind me I could be playing Duke Nukem instead of this. That's a great idea. So, he's going to crash through the poorly armoured gate there. If they'd made it out of trousers, the van would have just bounced off, but they foolishly made it from metal instead. So, all the Koreans will crowd around it in a wise fashion because it's not an obvious trap. And then we will have the mortar shell from my favourite character. Up it goes into the sky, and they're going to ignore it. And then it blows up, and all the Koreans obligingly catch fire before the thing even hits them. That's nice of them, I suppose. And I guess General Shepard doesn't care about danger... Oh, no, wait, that's that other game. Right, now there's two trophies or achievements here. You can either get one for not shooting any of the mans down there, or you can shoot at least 5 of the mans down there. Alright, now notice that Gary Stu here is going to order the American soldiers forward even though they're waiting for an artillery strike. I guess that he comes from the strike at Karkand school of tactics, which I guess doesn't work for him very well. Anyway, we've got ourselves this sniperty rifle, which has a magical scope on it, which you'll see in a moment. You see, everything outside the scope is magnified as well as everything inside the scope. It's almost like it's just an overlay on a screen that's zoomed in or something. And it's also got this reticle here, which has a bullet drop compensator for windage and such, which would be very useful if there were any actual bullet physics in this game, but there aren't any, so it's rather redundant and all. Go away, screensaver, nobody likes you. I'll just deactivate that while we blast at these men. Now, that guy's going to go over there, and a derelict car will appear next to him in a silly fashion, but then we'll reload this, and tragedy! Horror! The second round has misfired, and it's heading straight towards us, and apparently we don't have the presence of mind to jump off the roof. So it will blast us off the roof instead. Luckily, it's a friendly white phosphorus round, and thus it leaves a nice player-shaped channel right down the centre. That's good of it, isn't it? So, we've got to get up, and this game is apparently going for the award, the Dmitry Petrenko Award for player character who spends the most time lying in a heap. Unfortunately, Crysis 2 has already won that for this year, and possibly forever, hopefully anyway, and this man is going to vanish in embarrassment at the fact that he has been denied his award. So, we'll make our way along here. This will come out of literally nowhere. I mean, look, you can see the back end of the trail. That didn't come from anywhere near where the round came from, and apparently waited, too. It was mean, you see. So, we'll get up there while that man has a good old steam. Alright, and the game will try and sell it to us that this is Hopper's fault, even though it is clearly Connor's fault. So, up here we go, past this Bernie guard tower thing. And Connor is going to forget that he's supposed to be, like, jammed. Yeah, he's going to forget that he's supposed to be choking until his next line. Meanwhile, that's going to go over there. Violent coughing. See, now he's coughing. Silly bugger. Right, so meanwhile over there, that PWS Diablo advert is going to start glitching. It's nice that they now tell us that half of those people were Americans. We couldn't really tell during the thing that any of them were Americans, but I guess we're supposed to be retroactively horrified. Meanwhile, a helicopter again, so it's going to blast us, and then Connor will notice it after several rocket impacts. Thank you, Connor. You are very perceptive. So the tower is going to go and take a tumble down here, and we will once again end up lying in a heap for it. That's great, isn't it? So, we're lying in a heap. That man's going to come over here and almost shoot us. However, luckily for us, this man is actually made of jam in a plastic bag. I guess that's why that guy was making so much jam. He was trying to assemble more forces. And Rihanna is making more violent coughing. This isn't the silliest subtitle we've got. I mean, if you recall the intro, there were actually subtitles when there were captions on the screen. I guess I'm going to have to say that Goliath is my favourite character here. Yeah, so I suppose that those were there just for the people who can who can't read text but can read smaller text. They have a very special form of selective blindness. Meanwhile, we're going to protect our only friend in the universe by sniping at men with silly EMP launchers. And despite the fact that one of the premises of this game is that EMP is permanent and forever on America, apparently Goliath has nano-machines or something, I don't know, so he can repair himself, which is good for him, I suppose. And meanwhile, product placement. We will place products on these people, and they will tumble around in a very silly fashion, while Goliath trundles backwards and forwards in an ineffectual fashion. So, let's gotta shoot at this guy here, and apparently we've inherited the Goliath targeter again after it was on the backpack last time, so maybe there's two of them. So, well, I take a certain pride from forcing that man to take a dangle there. No, I take a certain pride from my ability to use Goliath to take out the things that you're supposed to take out with the sniper rifle when they disable Goliath. It's because I'm actually good at this game. This is my third playthrough, in fact. I don't know why, don't ask. So, we've got to take out more of these men in this boring back and forth trundly section until the game eventually decides that enough is enough and it's time for some progression. There's one more EMP guy lurking around up there, but we'll have to take out his friends here out front first. There we go, there's the EMP soldier, but he was too quick for us, that crafty devil, so we'll have to use our silly scope to destroy him. You, sir, stop shaking my screen, it's silly of you. So we'll blast this man here before he does the same to us, because we can't have that kind of thing, and now we have Goliath back in action and ready to rock and roll, which is marvellous for us. So, now there is some enemy armory thing. There's a Humvee, so we've got to take that out, and eventually the game will decide to let me take it out, but firstly Goliath will miss it. So, now we can actually get a lock onto it, we can kill it, and then we will get... Their war machine is too powerful. So what, they're supposed to be talking in, like, silly Korean accents in Korean? That's silly. So, down here we go. And you'll notice where the regroup pointer is there, because that is exactly where they are telling us to go, right? It's important. So we'll run over here and we'll switch to our snipety rifle again, have a quick look at what these guys have got. They haven't got anything interesting, so we'll ignore them. Hurrah! So we regroup there, and then we are told to follow Goliath. So we'll follow Goliath. That seems like a good plan. We'll get our targeter out just in case something stupid turns up, like, say, a helicopter. Right, so we're doing exactly what the game told us to, and here comes the target. So we will use Goliath to take out the target, because that is logical game design. Meanwhile, this isn't. Yes, the game kills you for doing exactly what it told you to do, and that's not the last time, so that man's going to point at a photograph, but then we will actually do what the game does not tell us to do, which is follow Goliath by running way off to the right of it. I love it when things like that happen. But anyway, let us talk about this game. Let us talk about helicopters, because the developers talked about it in their blog, don't you know. One thing we wanted to avoid, though, was relying on gimmicks. At one point in development, we had an extended battle with a helicopter that was shooting its mounted guns at your position inside a guardhouse. After taking it to a high level of polish, in this game, we realised that it just wasn't working. It felt too much like a cliched boss battle. It didn't fit with the tone of the game we were creating, and it made future helicopter encounters feel less threatening. Once you've single-handedly taken down a chopper, the next one doesn't feel as powerful. The lesson we learned wasn't that destroying helicopters isn't fun, but that when you destroy a helicopter it should matter. As a member of the Resistance trying to engage a well-funded military, it's important that enemy vehicles and armour feel appropriately scary. When a machine gun and a Humvee starts firing at your position, you need to get your head down and fight from a better position, not engage it head-on. This informed a lot of our level design, as we discovered that escaping or outrunning strong opposition was as exciting as fighting it. Was that a different game by any chance? Usually what we do when something turns up is just point Goliath at it after it escapes from our enemies at the Hooters. Bear in mind that this guy wrote Red Dawn, he co-wrote Red Dawn, he co-wrote Apocalypse Now, and he co-wrote Dirty Harry, and he's gone from that to enemies at the Hooters. I think How the Mighty Have Fallen is probably the only way to appropriately approach this. But yeah, I mean, basically in this level and the next, what really happens is that if you have to engage enemy armor or something, you use this here as... Let's have a quick look at this machine gun before we talk about that. You have to use Goliath there, which has a Chinese Type 2 machine gun, I think it is.
I got it. I won't let you down. Just shut up and do your job.
He did shut up and do his job. I think Connor's just being a bitch to him now. It's ridiculous of him. So yeah, I mean, basically what happens is that Goliath will clamber out of Hopper's trousers and will deal with the situation for you. You don't have to outrun or escape anything. And incidentally, the next helicopter we get to battle takes 30 seconds. It's great, but nonetheless, let's go over here and find ourselves another intelligence. You notice that we're now carrying 2 M4s during all that silliness. And they are nagging us and telling us that the trucks won't wait. They actually will. They will wait a very, very long time because there is no hurry. And it's weird that they're nagging us like this too, because in this level there actually are 2 sections which are on timers. We've earned a trophy for being an archivist, which proves that we have the patience to find half of those what's-its. We haven't found the sillier ones yet, and there's a couple in this level that have some terrible descriptions, including this one.
Over here, by the fence.
It's not particularly clear where it is, according to the GameFAQs guide I was using, which is by a guy called Sockus, who we will abuse later. Oh my god, it's Connor's ass. We'd better hide from that nonsense. So, we're going to crawl under the fence. No, we're not going to crawl under the fence because Rianne has assembled an invisible wall in front of it because it's her turn. So we're going to have to get up and back away and let her have her turn and not try and crawl into her trousers because that would be crude and stupid. And I've already done that, and apparently she has wounded us just for getting too close. So if you're playing the Homefront drinking game, you have to take another shot for that one, and then over here there is one of these, so we'll pick it up. New career is far from a democracy, my god. So she's talking about how many bodies we left back there, because once again, she is being...
No one deserves to die like that.
Connor
Where
does.
did you even get that shit?
Well, you saw, we got it from the Gunnison.
Koreans. They were going to use it in case of an uprising.
Okay, he's decided he got it from
It
somewhere
wasn't
other than the
supposed to
Gunnison
happen
cell.
like this.
It was supposed to happen competently.
Listen,
Right, now we're
gotta
carrying
tag
2
them.
M4s, and strangely enough,
Good.
this game has no interchangeability between
Yeah.
weapons at all, as well as having 5 weapons that use Stanag magazines and a 6th which could potentially use them. You can't swap ammunition between them, but you can't even swap ammunition between the same weapon. You know, it's got 79 rounds with that one, we've got 80 with that one. The 2 ammunition reserves are completely separate, even though the only difference between these is one of them has a holographic sight on it, which apparently completely changes the shape of the magazine. But now we're going to get ourselves a shotgun. This is the pre-order bonus type weapon here. It's a Remington 870 Express sure shot synthetic cantilever. It's actually a rather good shotgun, but it's not in multiplayer unless you did a pre-order, because they said that the multiplayer would all take place from long range or something, which would make a shotgun useless. I don't really agree with the idea that they're in a position to decide what my combat is going to be taking range from, but that's not English. And we have now crashed a helicopter while doing that, which Hopper has done, which was nice of him, with our good friend Goliath. This game's going to end up like Lost Planet 2, where our favourite character was the railway gun, isn't it? The one thing you might notice that when you reload this, or two things you might notice that when you reload this, in fact. One of them is that there's no gas block on it, as well as no front sight, which is a mistake that Modern Warfare game made as well. And the other is that the fire selector is on semi-auto, even though it's firing on full auto, so they really didn't care about this. Now we've got ourselves the Master Key. It's an underbarrel shotgun. It's an example of terrible game design, because it's on an ACR rifle that has 43 rounds, and it's the only one in the level. And it itself, even though we've got 60 rounds for our shotgun, only has 8 rounds. So apparently we can't interchange the shotgun rounds either. They're special shotgun rounds. They're filled with stupid, which means that they can't be put in this gun because it's good, you see. It's also got real tree camo. It hasn't gone mouldy, and it's got itself this no front sight type behavior, and it's doing the turning point thing of ejecting shells in a random fashion. It's also, you can see there's a spare shell holder. One of the shells in that is upside down. Now apparently some tactical shotgun operators actually do that to identify special rounds. However, the thing is that we don't have any special rounds. We've only got buckshot, so it makes no sense whatsoever for us. I guess we're just doing it to try and impress the ladies or something. So we've sniped those men over there, and in a minute you're going to see how absurdly delicate our protagonist here is, but firstly we'll have to get rid of some more of these blokes here, don't you know? So we'll make our way forward. Look at all these moire patterns. Why would you make a level that looked like this? It's silly. So apparently they've left their reserves of explodium here, and well, that was great. How was I supposed to react to that? Well, I guess I wasn't. These men are trying to push a Humvee over in a childish manner. But another thing you'll notice which Turning Point does, although you won't have noticed Turning Point doing it yet because I haven't died, is that all of the weapons disappear if you have had a checkpoint because it doesn't save them, because it's a silly game. So, this is another generic FPS location, not quite on the list of the big four, however it is still one of them. The derelict supermarket. Why are supermarkets in video games always looted, you ask? Well, it's quite simple actually. Let's imagine that you are a video game designer and you're trying to people one of these supermarkets in a realistic manner. Let's say you work for 7 hours a day and it takes you 3.5 hours to make one product. You work for 5 days a week, you work for 47 weeks a year. It's going to take you 64 years to make 30,000 products to fill up an average town-sized supermarket. Oh yes, and then you're going to have to run them all by illegal to make sure you're not infringing on products by accident. Movies can get away with this kind of thing because you can't really ask a supermarket to strip out all its shelves just because you're making a movie in it. But games, they have to make everything. So usually you'll find that your supermarket has been conveniently looted. It gets a bit silly at times, like in that Modern Warfare game where everybody in America seemed to own the same sofa, but these guys are going to slide down into a heap. That was wise of them. And that sound of them sliding down is always at the same volume no matter how far away from you they are. So we're going to go around here. She's going to run in front of us, which is a great idea when someone's using a shotgun, and then we're going to make our way over here where Connor Moron will fire down that alleyway. Not really hitting anyone, and this guy, however, has donned his asbestos trousers and climbing legs, so he's able to get over that, which would thwart us and would thwart anyone like us. We'll put some more bullets in Bluey there, and then we'll go and have a look at this atrocious smoke effect over here. Look at how flat and terrible it is. We'll walk through there, which will singe us, but we're immune to that kind of thing, so we're going to make our way back here. I'm looking for something that says games, because that is where the next intel is, don't you know? So we'll take out our true enemy, but it won't let us. And that guy is going to try and explode us, and he was oddly successful, so we will lean out and take him out. I don't know why they've got all these exploding yellow things here, and our Hopper is going to talk to us, so let's let him talk.
Keep them off our backs as long as you can.
Alright, that was his conversation, and he's going to hide behind a forklift. I don't know what that's doing out on the shop floor, but I guess it does, so we'll never mind that. We'll make our way further onwards into this stripped bear type supermarket. Why are they using a supermarket as a fuel depot rather than using, say, an armoured thing? I don't know, it's very silly of them. So, let's reload that and revisit our revenge upon these people for that. You, sir, your procedure is ridiculous. And meanwhile, load that up, and this guy here is allergic to cold steel. He missed us with his thrust, the fool. So we'll put another bullet in there and get ready to run around here and kill the most devious enemy yet. This man over here, Will Sprong. What is wrong with this thing? Right, stab him then, because that seems a bit more reliable than this does, and then we'll make our way around here, and soon we will be dying, don't you know? There's an M16 rifle around there, but we don't want it. That dastardly fellow over there is trying to give us Watt 4, but we have got Watt 5 in this shotgun, so we are fully equipped to deal with him and his ways. Let's run over here and blast him with our blast, and then the shotgun will do whatever it does. I guess it has some very delayed reactions. You, sir, you're trying to hide behind shelving, and that's silly of you. But over here there are a lot of men and some explosions, so we will have to deal with all of them in the way to which they're accustomed, which is dying horribly, unfortunately. Well, that was just ridiculous. These people are being herded, and then it's that silly gun made of wrist rails. I'll leave those in so that you can view them, you see. Well, we've readied our shotgun, and we know of that guy's plans up there, so that guy kept his explosion in his pocket. That was just daft, so we soon took him out. It's unsafe and bad procedure. So we will put more bullets into this thing, cartridges rather, and then we will switch to our M4 rifle, and we will destroy this man. We will visit our revenge upon him. We'll take that guy out too, or perhaps not, who knows. And then we will take that out, which will kill him off. And you notice that he smacks the bolt release there when he reloads it, which is actually correct. There's a different reload if you're using part of a magazine or a full magazine, which I guess is them trying to be authentic despite all of the other errors in this game. I'm not really sure what they're going for here. So this is the game section right here. It's been vandalated though, much like the inside of our truck. I guess these vandals get everywhere. They're burrowing vandals, perhaps they are mites of some description. We'll accidentally switch to this piece of rubbish, but then we'll throw it back and pick this up instead. The Winter of Freezing Death. It's the New World of Warcraft expansion, so we'll flip through that, and which will tell us about the Winter of Freezing Death. And then we will go up to the ramp in the back, which they have only just got to themselves, and they're already nagging us over. So we'll smash these in frustration at their stupidity, and then we will have to go to the back of the store in a moment. You, take that. Stop invading my ways. Yes, we've got a gun here that suffers from random ejections. I think we'll have to take it to the doctor and get it some pills or something. She's having a quick levitate, which is good of her, I suppose. It's what she likes doing around here. And then we've got all these cardboard bales around here for some reason. I guess all of their cardboard recycling was picked up by a helicopter in the former states of America, but now all of that has ended, so they are just waiting here to catch fire or something. Strike fast, no mercy, it says above Connor. I guess even the game's going along with us now. It can't pretend it likes him either. So, that door has shut, but apparently is not really attached to the wall in any way, shape or form.
The vehicle depot's on the other side of this door. We'll create a diversion. You have to tag one of the tankers before it leaves the lot.
Okay.
You can't fuck this up.
Yes, we can. Right, now this section actually is on a timer, and there is another shot for you to drink if you want to die of alcohol poisoning. So down here, we're going to jump down here and take this guy out, and you'll notice that that water there is apparently on fire. I guess it's just being a bit proactive since the fire hasn't started yet. We'll kill him in his explosion, and then this guy over here will have a plan. He's going to kick a barrel over there, which will launch a barrel back at him and kill him. I never said it was a good plan. So we're going to run along here. That's just to block us off from running through the gap there. Then we'll take this guy out with our machine gun, and then we'll have to run towards this tanker. And despite the fact that you can't get here any faster, he's acting like we can. He's a very silly fellow, so we'll have to run up to here and plant one of their tracking bugs on the back of this thing, which obviously there is no way for them to detect. So we did it, the bacon's in place, and now the next intel is, according to the guide by Sockus, it is by the tall bright light. Please, be less specific. So, yeah, there's going to be a bit of exploration going on here while I try and figure out what the hell they're actually talking about. There's a gunfight over there, but we're going to miss it. We're going to be delayed by our exploration. Let's go over here and have a look at this silly watchtower here, and then we will return back and have a look at these spectacular gas station-type pump things here. I guess that they needed to take on gas before they could ship it or something. It's actually aviation fuel, so that does make some kind of sense, I suppose. I will begrudgingly admit. And there's some containers there, and there's also... What is going on with this? And I guess the only reason I could think of that the static advertisements would screw up like that is they were actually trying to sell advertising space in this thing like they did in Far Cry 2. But who's going to buy advertising space in this game? Who knows? Take another shot. So they're over there by the doors, going to blow that up there, and then there's take another shot. Like I said, you're going to die of alcohol poisoning in this level. So let's run over here and... That's a great thing to ask now, isn't it? So, we're going to wipe out in a minute, and it's actually down by the lights over here. It's right next to the way into that gunfight type place in this little booth thing. So let's make our way to the little booth thing, and then we will grab the intelligence. 18 million dead as Knoxville Koth burns out. I read elsewhere that it was 60 million, so I don't really know what's going on there. Maybe it unburned out afterwards. Maybe they were just being silly when they said it burned out, or it was propaganda or something. So we will leave behind that complete mystery. Apparently they put Korean logos on their forklifts there, and let's move, he says. So he whacks that. There's a very small door on that side. It's got 2 locks or something. So we'll take that guy out because he stupidly rolled right into the explosion, and then we will take out these 2 guys who are in a window. Apparently they were just hiding up there anticipating us, which was silly of them. It was foolish that they should try such behaviors. So we'll load that up, explode those men, and then Connor will be sarcastic.
Jesus, Connor.
Jesus, Connor, stop being mean to the dead evil people. This game actually does try and make you feel sorry for the Koreans, even though, you know, they're evil. I don't really get it. It's very strange. So let's swap this thing, the other thing in fact, out for one of these M4 rifle-y things, because it is more useful to us than a nearly empty machine gun. We'll make our way through here once again with our shotgun, probably the only weapon in the entire game that they ever give us a decent amount of ammunition for. And there is that helicopter. I guess it fell through the roof or something. Connor, get out of my way, you big silly man. No, he's just going to explode. That is as angry as he is, don't you know? So we've got to snipe at these men as they come forth and burn to death and such like, and then pick up that ammunition and carry onwards. You, sir, you need to be killed in a way. But I'm having a look around here because they said it was near the stairs by the fire escape, and that is obviously the...
We need to get...
What?
Stay low and don't stop moving.
I don't really know what just happened there, and I don't think they did either. He was trying to say 5 different things at once. So that guy's going to crawl out and burn to death, and despite the fact that Rianne was commenting on it before, apparently she doesn't care about that guy burning to death. I guess he is unimportant in the grand scheme of things. So stuff is going to collapse again. I guess this wasn't a very well-built building. I don't know why TigerDirect.com wants us to believe that their buildings are not built to ISO burning down standards. It seems silly of them. And also they've got cardboard bales at the end of the aisles and such. And take a shot. The sky is through that one, you see, so... Connor is coughing in brackets, and around here we've got some more explosions, so we'll set those off, and then in here is one of those pools of oil that's apparently on fire, even though it isn't. There's also televisions and such, so we will have a look at the electronics, and then... Oh my god, a Bernie desk. The worst kind. So... yeah, I'm just going to have a quick look back here to see what the hell it was that burned me, but it was nothing. It was strangeness. So we'll pick up this M16 rifle for that. No, we will pick up this M16 rifle. No, we won't pick up any M16 rifle. I have made my decision, and I'm going to stick to it. We'll kick that door down instead. Connor will do it for us with his magical leg possession type abilities. And it's actually over there, and there's smoke coming through that shutter even before the doors close. That's brilliant planning there. So we'll run over here and get the last of the intelligences for this level. It's over here, hiding under the stairway. Let's have a look. Farewell address from the President of the People of the United to the people of the United States. He's also the President of the People of the United States, but that's not important. So let's make our way up here again, and he's going to duck down and investigate that door, but it's the wrong door, and there's blood here. I guess it got here first or something. So she's now going to go over here and cough violently. I guess maybe she's supposed to be coughing up the blood or something? I don't know. It's a very strange effect. And meanwhile, Connor was planning on using his superpower sooner or later. We've got this lens flare again here, which is being silly at us, and this thing is going to mess up. The audio messing up there is actually on the original recording. I think it's probably the game doing it rather than any part of my capture device. I wouldn't doubt it. And this thing also zooms in the whole screen rather than just the area inside it. So we'll swing our thing around. He will wound us somehow. I don't know what's going on there. I guess maybe the use of a leg requires a blast radius or something. Or it's just a terribly programmed game, or something like that. So we'll whip out our Goliath targeter, because I know, using my psychic mind powers, that Goliath is waiting for us out here. Meanwhile, there's a loud popping sound. That must mean that there is another timed section here, and if you don't realize that, then you are going to die here at least once.
Put some fire on those KPAs.
Okay, so I've been doing that for ages, but he tells me to do it anyway. She's going to jump over there, and you'll see some nice PS3 bad conversion screen tearing. Bad PS3 conversion screen tearing, in fact. So we're going to jump off the roof here, and then we're going to jump off the roof here as well. And then we must run towards that truck, which they don't really intend to tell us, because it's decided to leave. And if you don't do this instantaneously, it'll bugger off without you. So we'll climb up on there, make silly popping sounds, and then we'll whip out our Goliath targeter, because there is more Goliath targeting to do. That helicopter... Hang on, that helicopter's on the roof, so what was the other one doing not on the roof? Was that the second helicopter that Goliath shot down? Who knows? It was silly, that's what it was. So we'll take out those dudes there, and then we will have these things chase us. So we'll have to point at them with this pointer too. That's what we have to do in this universe, and mysteriously Goliath will keep rotating its turret straight forwards even though everything is behind it, so that it always takes forever and we take unnecessary damage. Here comes another helicopter, so we will have to destroy that as well, no doubt. It's going to try and shoot at us with its ways, but for some reason it's going to let me target it for a while. I'm going to try and target it with this, and then I will fire upon it, but for some reason Goliath will take forever to actually do so. Now, it's not going to let me target this last one, because apparently Goliath just knows in its heart of hearts that this bridge is going to collapse. I guess it is very much cleverer than Connor Moron, who probably wouldn't know such a thing. So, we got the trucks, that's all that matters. I'm going to get Hopper and go home. Didn't we leave Hopper right next to the place? Maybe he's being captured, and tortured. Who knows?
News of a daring attack today against the primary KPA.
Yeah, daring, that's what you'd call it.
Although the Resistance suffered heavy losses, the mission was called a success.
I like was called a success. I guess even he's not really going along with the idea that actually was one.
But our enemies have also marked this day. Throughout the occupation zone, the KPA has increased security and pressured civilians to identify resistance members.
Do you think they're foreshadowing something?
Citizens have disappeared in alarming numbers with reports of torture and execution.
How is that any different to what's
Some
normally
question
going
the
on?
risks of rebellion. They fear reprisals, the boot to the door in the middle of the night.
Especially if it's followed up by the rest of the person.
We must stand together now or not
Oh,
at all.
come on, that's not even foreshadowing. Now they're just telling us that they're all going to die. This is silly. Right, anyway, I've been Evil Tim. Goodbye.